Okay, in this video we're going to look at what is Smart DNS and how does it work. We'll try and go into a little depth here, but if you just want the basics, just watch the first part of the video. So Smart DNS technology offers a streamlined solution really for accessing geo-restricted content or geo-block content without affecting your connection speed. So when I think of geo-restricted content, I'm thinking about things like Netflix and Amazon Prime and BBC and NBC and ABC, all those media sites that restrict access based on your location. Any of these is a geo-restricted site. People usually use VPNs to get past this and access it, and which reroute all your traffic through an encrypted tunnel. And these work great, and they also provide a great layer of privacy as well. Well, Smart DNS does something similar without the privacy, and it redirects only based on DNS queries needed to bypass these restrictions. So basically, it only works on geo-restricted sites that have been configured. Okay, so basically how Smart DNS works, you get a DNS request, so you'll have on your device, you'll set up a Smart DNS server. Your device will send a DNS request to access, say, Netflix. Smart DNS proxy, which runs the Smart DNS, will intercept it and modify the location data in your DNS requests, and then it'll make the content providers think you're browsing from a place that's approved. So for the BBC, for instance, it would make it look like you're in the UK. And then you can watch access. Okay, let me just show you a little diagram here. So here's the client. This could be your smartphone, your smart TV, your computer, laptop, whatever. And this is configured with a Smart DNS server instead of your normal DNS server. So this, when it goes to this Smart DNS server, it will make one decision here. It will either go directly to send you on your way to a normal website and you'll have a normal connection. If the Smart DNS server decides that this is a geo-blocked site, then it'll route your traffic through to a proxy server in the correct country. So if I was here and I tried to access the BBC, Smart DNS would say, you've got to be in the UK, therefore I will route your traffic through a UK proxy. And then it will go and that proxy will speak to the BBC for you and make sure you can get access to it. Okay. Now it is a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the basic idea. Let's just have a step by. Well, first of all, I'll just show you now. So as I say, Smart DNS will only work on a configured service. So if it isn't a geo-block site, it basically does nothing. It's like it's not there. It will handle DNS queries for you as normal, but it won't do anything else at all. The Smart DNS service I use is called Smart DNS Proxy. It's here, and you can see here are a list of configured sites. So if you don't try to go to any of these sites, let me show you. So there's all sorts of things, Netflix, Pandora, BBC is on here as well, and well, hundreds and hundreds of sites. And they can configure more if you ask them nicely. It's not that hard to do. You can see any of those sites are geo-restricted. Smart DNS will do something there. If you want to try Smart DNS Proxy, the one I use, there's a link for a free 14-day trial. Don't need a card or anything. Just go and have a play with it. It's brilliant, honestly. But please subscribe to them if you find it useful, because it doesn't cost that much anyway. Free 14-day trial though. Okay, let's show you the process in more detail now. So step one, the client. So you're sitting at your PC and it will send a DNS request. You want to watch Netflix, okay? So your client sends a DNS request to the DNS server saying, where's Netflix? Where's Netflix? So your destination IP is there, and it will go to the DNS server and it will ask for an A record request for Netflix. The Smart DNS server goes, right, this is geo-sensitive or geo-restricted. Netflix will block access based on your location or configure access based on your location. So it knows it has to do something here. So instead of forwarding the request to a real DNS resolver, which it would do if it was not a geo-restricted site, it'll spoof this response, okay? So it'll send back the response and give the destination of Netflix as a US-based proxy that it has control of. Okay, so your connection will go to this US-based proxy. Step 3, so you will get a HTTPS request to the proxy server. So your browser will initiate a TLS handshake with the proxy, but your browser will actually think it's Netflix, okay, or your smart TV or whatever. So here's the source, and it will connect to the Smart DNS proxy in the US. Now this is because people generally want to, Smart DNS normally routes requests for Netflix to the US version because it's got more films and stuff. If you were accessing the BBC, it would go to a Smart DNS in the UK because you'd have to be in the UK. The proxy server will then forward the TLS session to the actual Netflix server. So this proxy server in the US then goes and follows your commands and just sends them to the US proxy server, the US Netflix server. Okay, so the proxy goes to the real Netflix server, but it will think you're in the US, okay? At this point, there are a couple of other little things that go on. It asks for the license, and it does a couple of geo checks there, but these will all be done with the proxy, just to check where you are. And you will see Netflix is basically seeing this request as coming from the US because its main verification is the IP address from the proxy server. Okay, and once that's happy, Netflix will reply, say, oh, okay, right, set your cookie, set the session. It says, hey, okay, he's a US user, verify your username and password, which you'll obviously need. And that's all good. Okay, and then we've got the last phase, step 5, content playback initiated. Here, you go in and click on your film or your TV show or whatever, and select the title to play and start streaming. At this point, all the geo checks are done. Smart DNS doesn't have to do anything anymore, and it sits back. Your actual video stream will come directly from Netflix CDN, Content Delivery Network, whichever one it uses, Akamai, Limelight, or its own Connect servers. I think it uses its own Connect servers. And so you'll basically get the stream that comes directly from Netflix to your browser. And that, of course, helps with connection speed because you're not bouncing it off the proxy. This stream will go straight past the proxy entirely. So you don't get any lag, you don't get an extra hop in the route, and it works perfectly. As long as the Smart DNS server is configured to operate this little charade, if you like. Okay, so Smart DNS versus VPN. Ultimately, they do the same thing if you want to watch geo-block sites. They allow you to watch them. Smart DNS has advantages. It has faster speeds because there's no encryption overhead. It's easier to set up. You don't need any software. All you need to do is go and change your DNS server address. So if you've been on your smart TV, you've probably gone on your network connections in your wireless settings, and you can see there's a DNS server there. You just have to go and change that, and then activate it in the Smart DNS service that you've chosen. There are a few here. I'm recommending this one below. It was one of the very first. I think there were 2 that came out quite similar, but Smart DNS Proxy is undoubtedly one of the leaders in this technology. Smart DNS has lower resource consumption, basically because it doesn't do as much, really. VPNs stream your entire connection totally, so they obviously use a lot more power, and there's more servers there. Smart DNS servers don't do as much traffic-wise. They're really just focused solely on geo-restriction bypass. Okay, so they just do that little charade and then they're gone. You know, there's no big bandwidth requirements. There's no big requirement for huge, beefy servers to cache large amounts of data or anything like that. The VPN advantages are, and there are some, Smart DNS isn't for everybody, complete traffic, so it gives you privacy, it hides your location. Smart DNS doesn't hide your location, it does a little spoof at the beginning, but then they'll be able to see your IP address, but because you're past the geo-checking thing, it doesn't actually matter. Your IP address is masked for anonymity. You've got protection on public Wi-Fi networks. Smart DNS gives you nothing like that. And there's a lot more security features. One thing I should point out, and one of the big disadvantages I've found with Smart DNS is that you have to authorize your IP address. on the Smart DNS service. So if you change, you move around a lot, it's a bit of a pain. For instance, using Smart DNS on a mobile phone when you're on the move will be a bit annoying, because it will break down all the time, because you'll get a different IP address and you'll need to authorize it. It'll be all right if you're staying on if you're streaming through wireless, but if you're streaming through your data plan, I wouldn't use Smart DNS. Okay, so that's basically it. I'll stop now because, oh gosh, I'm over 10 minutes. That's my attempt, anyway, to explain what is Smart DNS. I hope you've enjoyed my video, and bye for now.